Um, what about breaking bad habits? This is a huge topic. So, phone addiction, video game addiction, porn addiction, or sleeping with the smartphone, scrolling social media while you shouldn't. Um, how would you how this paradigm helps people break bad habits and form new ones?
Well, there are two aspects to this. The first is to realize that a bad habit is, in almost every situation, is a coping mechanism. It's a way of dealing with feelings that the person is not comfortable with. So that may be feelings of stress or anger or loneliness or uh, worry or anxiety or sadness. It can be any feeling that a person, for whatever reason, doesn't feel comfortable feeling. Okay, and so and here's the thing: if we talk about uncomfortable feelings like stress, worry, anxiety, that sort of thing, if you ask someone, hey, why are you feeling worried? Why are you feeling stressed? They will always give a reason. And the reason will almost always be something that they're attributed to. So they say, oh, well, let me tell you why I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling stressed because of my job, because of my boss, because of my upbringing, because of a diagnosis I got, because of my girlfriend, my boyfriend, because I'm worried about the future, because I'm worried about the past, because of the environment, because of the political situation, because of, they'll always have a reason. And in almost every situation, that reason will be outside. It'll either be outside in the world of things, or outside in time, out in the future, or out in the past, or even outside in their personality. Like, and you may think, oh, well, hang on, personality, that's inside, isn't it? No, it's outside. It's outside because it's thoughts and beliefs and ideas and concepts. And so as soon as a person believes that their uncomfortable feelings are coming from somewhere outside thought in the moment, outside the wisdom and intelligence of life, outside of this hot second, as soon as they believe it's coming from out there, then they look to out there for a solution. They look to the out there, and that looks like the right place to look, right? If my problem is coming from out there, then that's out there is the place to look for a solution. And so they look to the out there of booze or phones or cigarettes or screen time or pornography or games or whatever to change how they feel. And so the thing again and again and again that, and it seems kind of counterintuitive, but if you want someone to, if someone wants to get free from a habit, and the habit is the solution to a problem that is caused by misunderstanding, you need to start by clearing up that problem, clearing up that misunderstanding. See if someone believes that their feelings of stress are coming from outside, whether it's the outside of jobs or friends or partners or whatever, then they'll look outside for the solution. And so that the starting point with habits and addictions is seeing, oh, those feelings aren't coming from out there in the first place. Mm-hmm. You know, the simplest solution to any kind of negative habit or coping mechanism is to not need to cope. And so one aspect of it is realizing that you're feeling thought and not the things you're thinking about. But the other is like what comes along with that is just getting more comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. Because here's the thing. For a lot of people, and this was true through a lot of my life, actually, if I felt uncomfortable whether it was stress or anger or worry or anxiety, it was a signal. It was going, something's wrong. Something's wrong out there. It was sort of like an alarm going off. There's a
Mhm.
problem. There's a problem. And now I still feel the full range of human emotions and sometimes feel stressed or worried or anxious or annoyed or frustrated or whatever. But it just doesn't look like that big of a deal. It's like, oh, I guess I'm feeling frustrated now. It's like, well, it's funny. I was being interviewed on a podcast about happiness, and we got to the end of the podcast, and they said, so what is the secret to happiness? I said, well, it looks to me like the less concerned you are with how you feel, the better you feel.
Mhm.
It's very normal for people to get excessively concerned about feeling stressed or anxious or worried or sad or any of that thing. And part of it is because they believe that that's telling them, A, that there's a problem out there in the world that's giving them a bad feeling, but also that there's something wrong with them, and that it has them feeling separate and isolated from life. And the fact is, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with anybody. I mean, there could be all kinds of things wrong with our physical bodies, and we can have bad attitudes and bad habits and that sort of thing. But there's nothing wrong with the essence of you, like who you really are
Mhm.
is already whole and perfect and complete. You're not broken and you don't need fixing. There's nothing wrong with you, and there never has been, and there never will be. Uh, and as you start to realize that you're already everything you've been searching for, and and that you already have everything you could ever have been afraid of losing, and it can never be taken away from you. I mean, at an emotional level, at a sense of who you are level. It just kind of takes a weight off your mind. It's like, oh, you're okay. Like, I often find when I'm coaching people, when they're afraid of failure or criticism or things not going the way they want to, I find myself saying, the issue isn't that things might not turn out the way you want them to. The issue is you don't believe you'd be able to handle that, and you can. You're built for reality. The fact that we're even here having this conversation is the result of millions of years of evolution, and we come from a long line of people that managed to survive at least until breeding age, and have sex at least once, and raise a child that did the same thing. And we are built for reality. We're optimized for results. So you're capable of far, far more than you think.
Mhm. It's funny when sometimes when you speak, I feel that we're really in tune. Maybe because we first discovered this through you, but you spoke about the fear of criticism and when you coach clients. And I was actually thinking of one of my clients that got a realization into their deeper nature, in who she truly is. And she feared criticism a lot at the workplace. And afterwards, it just changes she experiences it, both when it gets under her skin and when it doesn't. It doesn't matter so much anymore. And I got her testimonial like some days ago, and she was saying exactly that.
Hmm.
And she had a moment after we spoke about that. She had a moment of clear mind, those kind of moments which you have an empty mind. She spent an entire evening in this emptiness, and then after that, it didn't matter so much anymore, the problem that she perceived before. So.
I think that's a really great point, actually, is that, as you explore this understanding, what you find is that you get moments like that. And sometimes it's a whole evening, or you just fall into peace. Sometimes people have it for a few days, sometimes people just for a few moments. But it's all, how I think of that is, it's almost like getting a software update, because when that happens, things are different afterwards. You see the world differently. And this is actually, very normal for human beings. We have this innate capacity for realization, which is what has allowed us to learn to walk and to talk and to interact in the world and do things like drive cars and that sort of stuff. It's an innate capacity to learn on a deep level that's nothing to do with, going to school or reading books or whatever. It's a capacity we have to learn from raw data about reality,
Mhm.
data pouring in through our senses. And when we have one of those insights, it changes the playing field for us.
That's a very good metaphor. It's sort of old out, new in, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And